Blake Shelton is well known in his nation. Millions of people are captivated by music. But it's not only Blake Shelton's music that is capturing people's hearts, as per sources. There is one fan-unbelievable story regarding Blake Shelton and his third wife, Gwen Stefani. Similar to his last two marriages, the couple's relationship is also about to end. Now address the fans and rumors been looking forward to what did they say they learned from this film as we examine the professional and personal Blake Shelton, Gwen, his spouse, and There was a rumor that Blake Shelton was born in Ada, Oklahoma, on June 18, 1976, to Richard Lee and Dorothy Ann Shelton. Shelton's music was a popular kind of amusement in the Shelton home, and Blake demonstrated talent and enthusiasm for its desire to foster his passion. Shelton's uncle taught him how to perform as a guitarist when he was 12, yet Blake's contentment and musical sadness punctuated his growth. Experienced a catastrophe that rocked him to Richie. His brother passed away in a horrific vehicle collision, bearing the burden. After his career setback, Blake created ahead and kept developing in terms of talent. Following high school, he made the decision to pursuing a career in music. Thus he relocated to Nashville, Tennessee, and a musical performance agreement with Sony Music, and Blake signed with Giants in 1997 and 2001 records, but he didn't have a good start. Begin by explaining why this was. The record label turned down the song he had chosen to be his debut single in 2001. A different vocalist performed the song, and it shot to the top of the charts. Shelton eventually released a new single, and when his first single was released, what came next was blocked by enormous records. Shelton, the gifted vocalist, went on to Warner Brothers Records, which were Giants' parent business. Documents what appeared to be his loss turned into among the greatest things that might have occurred to him, because Austin was a large rose to the top of the Billboard after hitting chart of popular country songs and singles. Wishing to expand on the achievements of the Shelton's first album as a single was titled, it was a commercial that came after him, Success. Yet it divided the views of music reviewer Maria Kiki DeNoia praised the record, especially Austin's. Scott Holwood provided a allegedly anticipate Shelton's follow-up album in 2003. The Dreamer was released, received the same treatment as the initial album, which resulted in a number one. Unmarried with the Child, in spite of later singles not making the top slot. Gold was awarded to the album. Later that year, certification. Shelton wed his long-term partner. On November 17, 2003, Ket Gurn found that marriage required a lot of work. Blake Shelton's third album was released in 2004, Shelton's Barn and Grill. Additionally, the record provided the world another number one single from the album, Some Beach. Contains a rendition of Conway Twitty's Goodbye Time, which peaked at number 10. Similar to Blake Shelton's previous platinum status was attained by the Barn and Grill. Shelton has earned his superstar certification and was now showing up on television. Regretfully, his career success did not appear in his private life as. Why did he and Ket Gurn get divorced in 2006? Shelton and his Ket G split up, following reportedly dating for a very long time. Shelton and singer Miranda Lambert first connected at 2005's 100 Best Duets concerts by CMT. Did these two develop a romantic relationship? Together they collaborated on a Michael Jackson cover. The cover of Bublé's song of the same name was so well liked that it rose to the top on the Hot Country Songs chart. Single Did Something Occur Between Them that led to the divorce of Shelton and Ket in 2006. Blake started dating Lambert, and his separation from G had no impact on his. He was even having success in his career as he released Pure BS, his fourth studio album. Early on in 2007. The first two singles from the album, Don't Make Me and The More Alcohol I Consume, earned places in the top 20 of the national charts, peaking at number 12 and 19 in turn, with additional television appearances. He kept up his musical accomplishments, including a string of. Do you recall any of the number one hits? The singer collaborated with a couple on his hits. He performed a duet with other gifted stars under the title Hillbilly Bone with Trace Atkins. This partnership acted as the primary. Hillbilly Bone, the track from Shelton's EP published by Repetition Records March 2010 in Nashville, May 2010. The singer asked Miranda Lambert to marry him, and 2011 would see the couple's marriage. It could be that the marriage's occurrences are connected to rumors, but we will nevertheless. 2011 saw Shelton take on the position of. He swerved from stunning the coach, his voice to the audience, by teaching the musicians of the future, as he took, accepting a teaching and judging position on the NBC reality TV shows. Though the singer's voice wasn't what putting his art aside, he put out an album, Red River Blue, in the year that the album's opening track, Honeybee, turned into It became a major smash and broke records. The country tune with the quickest sales by arose to the top, and a male singer placed to be added to Shelton's repertoire of songs to attain that status. It wouldn't be the album's final song to achieve the #1 spot, as well as more tracks from the album. God poured a glass for me and offered it to me. The coveted top slot that Blake was relishing. His recent surge in achievement when another tragically, his father passed away following a prolonged struggle with ill health. Did this affect Shelton's performance? Past the catastrophe and proceeded with his. He and his former spouse sung about their careers, the sorrow that he experienced in the song, Over You. The song became so well known that it won the 2012 CMA Song of the Year award, as well as the song and single record of the 2013 Academy of Country's Year. That would not be the final music awards. Cooperation between Miranda and him Lambert during their joint performance at the Super Bowl. Sadly, 3 years later, in 2012, they divorced. What might have led to this? Marriage gave insight into the factors that led to. They stated prior to the divorce that this is not their imagined future, and it is with a sorrowful heart we proceed. On our own, we are actual persons with actual lives, with true family, friends, and colleagues. Thus we respectfully request compassion and privacy in relation to this really intimate issue following the divorce. Shelton continued to enrage supporters in 2016. Some of his previous posts on X, which was originally Twitter, reappeared and infuriated the homosexual community, as the posts were regarded as hateful and offensive. This indicated difficulty for the vocalist, who swiftly removed the 2016 tweets and issued a "Everyone is aware that comedy has been a significant portion of my work, and it's always being visible to anyone outside," stated that everyone who knows me is aware that I refuse to tolerate any form of bigotry, whichever shape my humor can occasionally take, unsuitable, immature, and yes, hateful. Having stated that, I sincerely regret anyone who would have felt offended by him. Sadly, he posted for Shelton. Nevertheless, had a few circumstances that he had to manage. He had to confront the rivalry in the music business. Hellest his run of consecutive #1 hits, but soon recovered. Shelton was a tremendous talent back then, and he would have to do more to lose his status as one of the greatest, acknowledging Shelton's important contributions to the scene of country music, the Hall of Fame for country music, and his career was honored by the museum with a Blake's exhibit's grand opening in June. Shelton, based on a true story. The exhibit highlighted his trip in 2016. From his origins in Oklahoma to Nashville fame, emphasizing his coaching role, considered The Voice to be a turning event in his Shelton's career, demonstrated his standing as a folklore when he joined a group of 30 artists for the nation's eternal joint song honoring 50 years. The song is a mashup of the CMA Awards traditional country tunes, made their debut at #1 of the top country songs on Billboard, demonstrate his coaching abilities on The Voice. Furthermore, gained more recognition. As Sundance Head, one of his teammates was declared the season 11 victor. The next year he received additional honors. His wax figurine was introduced to Shelton in Nashville at Madame Tad's, and he was recognized as an ambassador of creativity. In Oklahoma's run of victories on The Voice continues with Chloe, in season 13 Cohancy. As the winning member of the team, Shelton went back to being a musician. When the lead single is released, his 11th studio album is titled Name the Dogs. The arrival of Tioma Shore in November 2017's I Lived. The second single from the album, it was broadcast on rural radio in January 2018, which marks the continuation of Shelton's prosperous musical career. Anything, although he wasn't fully able to continue to look for love, until in 2015 he discovered it in his co-worker Gwen Stefani. Gwen, who appeared on The Voice, saved my Who Else on the Planet could comprehend life. Undergoing a well-publicized divorce from a different performer, you can't even consider the parallels between our divorces. What is the rumor about? Shelton asked. These two, as well as Gwen Stefani's identity, people who are unaware that she is an American fashion singer, songwriter, and actress, designer, and entrepreneur, and will now plunge inside her Gwen Stefani's birth story. October 3rd. In Fullerton, California, in 1969 to Patty Flynn and Dennis Stefani. Stefani's dad was a Yamaha employee, a marketing executive, and her mom served as an accountant prior to becoming a stay-at-home mom with two younger siblings, Todd, Jill, and an older sibling named Eric. Eric was the one who placed her in her musical. He started the journey by introducing her to the SCA songs by groups like As Madness and The Selector in 1986, after which he asked her to join No I Doubt that he created a SCA music band. The formative years of Doubt were characterized by a struggle to establish themselves. They signed in 1991 with Interscope Records and made their debut under the same name, Album In. The album wasn't a hit in 1992, but by their third record and Stephanie's career took a turn in 1995, substantial boost to the album, which took more than 3 years to finish. The featured hit singles like Don't Speak were the most popular. The year-end Hot 100 airplay chart in the success of the record in 1997 drove Stephanie Will Undoubtedly Become Famous expanded. Stephanie also worked with other musicians she included on singles Moby and the Brian Setzer Orchestra. Eve, though, without a doubt went back to failing as their subsequent albums, Saturn's Return, and the rock stable face commercial difficulties with fans adjusting to the new sound of their music. That for Stephanie, sound was really important because her insecurities are reflected in her songs, experiences as well as. Speaking of relationships, the vocalist started dating her bandmate after joining the band, Tony Kanal, but in the end, the two parted ways and nearly brought down the band in the process. With the split motivating Stephanie to write a lot of songs, this won't be the last one. Time she would do this following her negative split from Kanal. The vocalist then started dating the lead singer and guitarist for Bush. They were married to Gavin Rossdale, and the couple has 3 sons and 200 together. But Stephanie submitted a claim in 2015 for the same year, Blake Shelton's divorce. Her divorce was also terminated by her second marriage, was completed in 2016. However, Stephanie quickly and Blake Shelton. Stephanie, I found love. Placed the difficulties in her cherished life behind her, concentrating on her solo. Throughout her career, she launched new hits, includes Spark the Infant, Don't Lie, and worked on her third studio while battling fire. She also worked with Eminem on the album On Kings Never Die, and gave a new performance. She inspired the song Used to Love You, Separation from Gavin. This is the truth about the album. Rossdale seems to have been published in 2016, and first appeared at the top of the Billboard 100 to advertise it. Stephanie started the actress's tour with Eve, had other interests outside of music. When the chance arose, she went into the voice acting industry and voiced a Trolls as a character in the cartoon movie, but music would always come first. Stephanie, the vocalist, remained engaged in the music business, and when she made an appearance in the series of documentaries, The Rebellious Ones, and declared intentions to release new music, she did so on a vacation. The album You Make It Feel Like Christmas, Stephanie also carried on with her. She joined The Voice as a coach, the program for several seasons of mentoring gifted vocalists and eventually attaining triumph with her finalist Carter. Her time on the program cemented her status as a well-liked and esteemed individual. In the music business, Stephanie kept a tight relationship with her partner. The two worked together with Blake Shelton multiple times. When they started their partnership in 2015, they worked together on the song Feel Free to Take a Break, My Heart, and they continued to work in 2019 together on Only You, which proceeded to dominate the charts and solidify their status as an active pair. Additionally, they published another song called Happy during the COVID-19 epidemic, somewhere delivering a hopeful message and speaking about the epidemic resiliency. Although the epidemic caused many elements of the music business, Stephanie continued to be creative and active. She was appeared on Dua Lipa song remixes, released a new track as a solo artist, reintroducing myself and making fun of others, Shelton's unreleased songs, and the Bond content of Stephanie kept on expand more. And on October 27, 2020, a mystical event occurred between the Shelton and Stephanie got engaged in a chapel on his land in Oklahoma, in front of her kids and other family member zones, and they were married at the same time. Chapel and Stephanie stayed dedicated to her in 2021. Craft following her union, and in 2022, she worked alongside Sean Paul on the lively and vivacious single Light My Fire. The partnership was a welcome shift in tempo and further broadened her. She also keeps up her musical horizons by work along with her spouse Blake Shelton. However, there are rumors around the two of them, whose union is in Gwen. Are those rumors accurate? Stephanie recently talked about her Blake Shelton's marriage and what she stated. I'm shocked to have fans at last. Rejected reports of marital issues. The lead singer of No Doubt described his when working musically with Shelton by giving credit to their strength of the connection to shared values. Stephanie proclaimed her love when you're having really similar ideals and being in love. Nobody can reach us, she said. Annoyance at the fake divorce. There are speculations that you can say anything you wish to discuss our relationship. Mean we were divorcing a week ago. once more or whatever. It simply lies. Truth is truth, and we are aware of it, is in order for negativity to never penetrate simply by my vulnerability, and releasing a song I didn't compose for anyone other than me. And additionally, Stephanie talked candidly about the difficulties they encountered together, acknowledging times of insecurity that caused her to mistrust herself. And she openly revealed, I've been experiencing those periods where, oh my God, you're asking whether am I cute these days as I get older? She disclosed that her insecurities permeated her, and Shelton's connection establishing essential drama. In spite of her knowledge of their close relationship, despite my knowledge of the reality of what's taking place now, you continue to fabricate drama in your own head. Regarding your fears and what could occur, I was throughout that stage of their relationship with Blake and obtaining. She is paranoid, admitted, but Stephanie subsequently thought back on these encounters, realizing that her suspicion was mostly driven by her tendency to overthink things, as she stated that she was concerned about, was only in her head. Shelton reflected Stephanie's candor in revealing his personal encounters with vulnerability inside there. He described an intimate bond. Discussions with Stephanie regarding their anxieties about growing older and becoming less unique, emphasizing the reciprocal assistance and knowledge that serves as the foundation for their relationship. In spite of these common uncertainties, Stephanie highlighted their marriage's enduring strength. Shelton is her closest friend. They started their romantic journey with confidence. 2014 on the voice actor's set, resulting in their nuptials in Stephanie, a mother of 3 sons in 2021. Apollo and Kingston Zuma, from her Gavin Rosdale's former marriage, was discovered. A loyal friend in Shelton during the Hollywood Walk of Fame for Stephanie. Shelton gave a ceremony at which he speech that was emotionally charged and brought his wife to tears as they reminisce about their first meeting on the voice actor's set. Had depicted Stephanie in striking detail, pulling up in a black minivan with child seats, producing an aura of protection. Shelton's speech was surrounded by a sincere homage to Stephanie's outstanding professional accomplishments, music, TV, movies, and fashion, and beauty, which he jokingly announced his desire for her to have even greater importance than the appreciation of the world, which emphasizes her distinct style and indisputable charisma.